at some point in my life, I have asked this question, and I've really, kind of struggled with the answer of, why am I fat? Why am I overweight? Why is it so hard for me to lose weight? Why is it so hard for me to, I've lost weight before, like lose the weight, and why does it always come back? So in answering this question, I have come up with one very specific underlying reason. Now, I understand that eating habits and lack of exercise obviously are problems, but those problems are a symptom. These are symptoms. These problems over here, symptoms of what? What they are a symptom of is the negative self-image, the thoughts, the beliefs that I have about myself, and that is what is underlying my whole weight problem. So in this video today, I am going to be talking about that belief system and one of the ways that I am using to address it. Hi, I'm Caroline Angelis, and I am overweight. I've always been overweight, and right now I am working on not only losing the weight, but on making sure that I keep it off by changing my mindset. Okay, so I want to start this conversation with this. This was given to me. It's probably showing backwards on your screen, but this was given to me by a counselor that I was seeing a few years ago. It's for doing EMDR. It's the beginning of EMDR. Now, I'm going to have a different video on EMDR at another time because it has actually been an amazing way that I have learned to clear out some things, some negative beliefs about myself. But that's not what the topic of this video is today. But I did want to share this because this comes down to the whole belief, the whole enchilada, the whole reason why I am stuck in some of the patterns, not just weight, but other patterns, other things that have happened in my life, that I have repeated over and over and over again, why I keep falling into the same hole, right? In other areas of my life, including finances and relationship or lack thereof and other things, right? So what I want to share is this part over here, which talks about the negative belief. What are the negative beliefs that we have? These are called core beliefs, like the very root of how we feel, how I feel about myself. Like up here, I might be, I'm smart and I'm strong and I'm creative. And up here, it's this kind of level of thinking. I do have things about me that are good, right? But those things are not getting me the success and the happiness and the things that I want in my life. What is really driving me, what is really causing a lot of problems in my life are these core beliefs, these beliefs that are underlying, the ones that are holding everything up. They're the ones that I keep coming back to time and time again, that motivate all of my actions, because it's like, this is my programming, right? Like, this is my definition of me. Now, these are all the negative ones. I do have some positive ones, but these are some negative ones. And when the counselor gave me this list, I was kind of surprised by how many I circled. Okay, so I'm going to read them to you. So one of them is, I can't protect myself. I do bad things. I'm not good enough. Ding! That's one. I'm a failure. Ding! Another one. I know that that's a core belief of mine. I should have done something. I'm unlovable. That hit me. I'm worthless. I'm worthless. You can tell that's still hitting me. That's still one that I'm working on. Not worth less. For me, it's the feeling of I'm not worthy. Okay? I'm inadequate, or I'm not good enough would be another way to say that. That's also something that I am still struggling with. I'm responsible for everything. Like, I feel that. Like, when you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders like all the time. I'm a single mom, so this really defines how I see things right now. Something I'm struggling with. I should have done something. Didn't we talk about that one already? Well, that's in there again. So I have to be in control. I'm powerless, which is the flip of I have to be in control, right? I'm powerless. Like I am, another way of putting this would be like, I feel like my life is out of control. I don't have control of my life, right? I'm helpless. Now, that one I didn't think was an issue. Okay. I have never seen myself as a helpless person. But I am doing counseling right now. I am doing therapy right now. And my therapist kind of brought that word out recently. And, like when somebody tells you something, sometimes your reaction is like rejection. Like, no, I am not a helpless person. Like, I do a lot of things. I am a hard worker and I am not helpless. And so I was kind of pissed off, right? When she said that, I was kind of ticked off. Like, why would she even bring that word up? And so over the next few days, it kind of sat with me and it bothered me. And then I had to own it. Right now, because of certain situation that has happened with my finances, and I'm not going to get into that right now. It's a whole different story, but I feel helpless. Like I feel like I don't have the ability to help myself. So what wasn't a core belief has been kind of working its way into okay, maybe it is a core belief, because this one I would call like I'm a victim, right? Like, and I know that I get really stuck in victim mentality, right? So, I'm trapped. I'm discarded. Like, to me, that one, I'm discarded, is more abandonment. I'm abandoned. That one strikes a nerve, and that has been striking a very big nerve for me lately. Abandoned / rejected. Okay, so I wouldn't word it as discarded. I would word it as, for me, rejected. Oh, there's abandoned on here. Okay, I'm defective. Holy cow. I have wrestled with the I'm defective one. I think I've done a lot of work on that and I'm feeling better. Look, I'm not getting teary, so that must mean that that's not resonating with me so much anymore. I'm getting there. I'm abandoned. There it is. I'm alone. So that's huge. It's not safe to feel. This is like when we stuff, we stuff emotions down. We don't feel like we can share. And we become really, what is the word? We become really detached, right? Detached from our emotions. I'm unimportant. I'm invisible. Now, like down here, there's these categories. And this one, these things down at the very bottom are survival instinct. Survival instinct. So I have so many checked off in this little box down here that, explains a lot of why I have been living in like survival mode all of my life. I've been just trying to survive. Okay. This one is control instinct, responsibility, worthless, competency, vulnerability. These I don't really care about. This one, survival, really, really made a lot of sense to me. So why am I sharing that? It's because here's the thing. If I believe that I'm not safe, if I believe that I am responsible for everything, what were some of the others? If I believe that I'm defective, if I believe that I'm alone or I'm abandoned or I'm rejected, if I really believe those things, like down here at the core level, the definition of who I am, how can I make any progress? How can I move on? Like, our brains don't do that. They don't do things that don't fit with our idea of who we are and our definitions of ourselves, right? Like we spend our lives literally picking up evidence. Things happen to us, right? And when something happens to us, let's say, I don't know, like your boss yells at you, right? Well, there are so many ways that you can interpret why your boss yelled at you. Okay. So if I feel like I'm defective, okay. So my boss yells at me, I feel like I'm defective. Then I'm like, boop, there's another piece of evidence. There it is right there. See, I'm defective. Can't do anything right. Okay. I'm broken. I'm wrong. Right? That yelling episode goes right into my pile of I'm defective. Now, let's say that I have really good self-esteem and I don't feel that about myself. So when my boss yells at me, I'm like looking for other reasons why my boss yelled at me. Maybe he's a jerk. Like, I mean, I could think that even if I think I'm defective, but how I interpret that, how I take it in, and how the emotion I attach to that is because of my belief system. You know what I'm saying? And how I react is because of my belief system, like who I am. Okay. I'm trying to lose weight, right? I've been trying to lose weight for my entire life. I've been overweight my entire life. And I've had some success, right? I've never gotten super thin, but I have had success. So why, when having that success, think about this, like, okay, let's say I had lost like 100 pounds at one point, right? And I got down to size 14, okay? So I get down to the size 14. I feel better than I have ever felt in my life. I was young too, so like that helped because being older, things are changing. But anyway, so I felt better than I had ever felt in my life. I felt beautiful and attractive, right? I still had work to do. I still had a long way to go, but like this was some serious progress. I felt really good. I had cute clothes. I dressed nice. I was just a happier person, right? My health, how I felt, everything, so much better, so much better. So why in the world would I ever go back to being miserable in my body, not be able to move, unable to fit into things? I got to almost 400 pounds at one point, right? Like I'm not there now. I like a good 90 pounds less than that now. But like I got to where I could not, if I gained any more weight, I was not going to be able to move the steering wheel anymore, right? Like it was going to be stuck because my belly was in the way and I couldn't move the steering wheel, right? I was not fitting in the car. I was not fitting in benches. Like if you went to a restaurant and they're like, oh, do you want a booth or do you want the seats? I'm like, well, it has to be a seat because, guess what? I'm going to get wedged in the booth and you're going to have to call the freaking fire department to dislodge me from this booth because I'm too big. I can't fit in this thing anymore, And then, I'm sitting in a chair and then my chair is pushing way out and in the middle of the walkway, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was big. I was not fitting in movie theater seats, like we'd have this kind where you push the button on the side and the seat would go up and down. Okay. So because I was so big and like filling up the whole space, right? Like, and that's probably happened now. Like I haven't been to the theater in a really long time, but probably it's still the case. Like I fill up the whole space. So like that means my leg is pressing on that button because the people were not smart enough to put the button on top, right? Or like at the end or somewhere not by your thighs for heavy people. I guess they don't think that people are heavy enough to push the buttons, but I push the buttons, right? So here I am. I'm trying to have my legs reclined, but they keep going up and down. Why? Because any little tiny move that I make, I'm pushing the button. And so I'm like, ooh, like trying to squish over to the side and trying to, it's not comfortable to watch a movie that way. But when you're stressed out the entire time that, your fat is pressing the button and you are going to be moving it up and down the whole time. What I'm saying is why I got down to a size 14. Why on earth would I allow myself, knowing the misery, knowing the uncomfortableness, knowing all of the stuff that comes with being overweight, why would I allow myself to literally put on, I was like 200 pounds, almost 200 pounds. 200, that's more than a normal sized person. Why would I let that happen? And the reason is because the definition of me did not feel worthy, felt abandoned, felt defective, felt alone. All of these things were overriding the success that I had and pushing me to come back to that definition of myself. Always coming back to the definition of myself. I felt uncomfortable being smaller, and I always came back to the definition of myself. Is this making sense? Okay. This is what my whole channel is about. This is what my whole discussion is about, is talking about unlocking and rewiring and reprogramming that definition, like rewriting my definition, right? Like getting back to the true me, the real me, the one I started out with before life and people and situations screwed me up, right? Like getting back to that perfect, no, I'm never going to be perfect, but getting, as a child, I came with all of the, it's beautiful and perfect and wonderful and talented. And I had all of these skills and abilities, and this just getting back to the real me, getting that definition fixed. And so what I want to talk to you about in this video is one of the ways that I have been working on doing that. And that is, it's called EFT tapping. Oh my gosh, I forgot to look up what EFT stands for. Ugh. It's emotional. I type in EFT and it says escape from Tarkov. What the heck is that? So EFT tapping. Emotional freedom technique. I don't know. I just call it EFT tapping. Okay. So this is like this thing that I had seen, even a couple of years ago, I was exposed to. It's like, tapping on your body and like what kind of woo-woo, right? Like kind of seemed kind of weird, but I was really interested in, but I didn't ever pursue it. I didn't really look into it. I just thought it was kind of out there for me, right? So I'm seeing this new therapist in the last, I don't know, it's been about 3 months now, and she has all of these cool techniques, and one of them is EFT tapping. I was like, I've heard of that before. What is that? And so she has taught me this. So EFT tapping is literally you're tapping and you're repeating certain things as you tap on certain points, like here and up here. Where else? Under your eyes, here and here, on the upper lip, bottom, here. There's tapping down here, and there's even tapping like lower down here. And I've seen a few different ways of it being done as I watch more videos. But okay, so you're tapping and you are saying specific things. And again, I know that this may sound weird to you, but I cannot I cannot express the emotional release that happens when you tap on and talk through. Oh, these are like, they're kind of like acupuncture points, I think is what they call it. Again, I'm like not an expert in this. I'm just sharing my experience. Okay, so you're tapping on these and you're talking these things through. There is a certain way that you talk in the beginning, okay, and certain points that you tap on. It's like, how to explain this? It's like when you have this emotion, okay, and like maybe sometimes it's a little raw, okay, or maybe sometimes you're not really sure what's bugging you. So let's go with the not bugging you thing. So let's say I start tapping and I'm like, I'm not really sure, but I feel really anxious right now. I feel really anxious because, and then you start talking it out. In this process of talking it out, like I have found this amazing thing happens where it's like it just starts coming up, like it starts coming out what I'm really feeling, because I've gotten really good at holding my emotions down in certain areas, because they're hard to deal with, right? Discovered I'm not a very emotionally mature person, right? And so I'm learning emotional maturity, and I'm learning to not stuff things down. And this process of EFT is helping me to do that, because I start tapping and the emotions come up. And my brain, I just let my brain take me where it needs to go. And when I do this, I have found that it usually takes me on this like little journey of all kinds of things that are related to that emotion. So how do I explain that? So let's say, okay, like last week, I was like, my kids made me, I felt really irritated and kind of had a little, argument with them, right? So later I'm thinking about that because like I never bounced back from that argument. And it was very short, and it wasn't even, necessarily a big deal, but it just kind of was pushing my button, right? And nagging at me, and I just felt sad the whole day and just like weepy. I got really weepy, and the rest of the day I was super like emotional. Like, what is going on, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, so I need to tap. So I started tapping it, right? I started tapping this out. And in this process, I started with, like, I'm feeling really sad right now. I had this disagreement with my daughters, and I just feel upset, and I don't know exactly what's bugging me, okay? So then I start tapping, and I'm talking through, these emotions that I'm feeling, this anxiety that I'm feeling, this sadness that I'm feeling, and I'm tapping it out. And as I do that all of this stuff starts opening up. And what I realize in that process is that something about the conversation with my daughters has hit a nerve of something that I have been working on, which is feeling abandoned and feeling rejected. Because the conversation with them is somehow like it hit a nerve, right? And because I was already a little bit raw with dealing with these emotions and trying to understand them about abandonment and rejection, it just like, it just hit that nerve. And that's what made me weepy the whole day. Well, doing the tapping helped me to connect into that and helped me to understand. And it helped me to alleviate that stress and that sadness and that pressure that was just pressing on me, making me feel so sad. And it's like, I can't express, it's just this, I want to call it an exhale, right? Like, like when you're holding something inside, and it's just eating at you and bugging you, and it's just, it feels like you're kind of just holding yourself together. You know what I mean? Like, and then when you have that relief, it's like you exhale. And there's this warmth and this peace that just kind of sits inside of me, and I feel relaxed, and I feel okay, and I feel better after doing this tapping. Now, has this completely cured my abandonment and rejection issue? No, because I'm realizing that some of these issues that run really, really, really deep, and things that I have been adding evidence on evidence on evidence, you know, like rejection after abandonment in my life, you know, things that have happened, piling up. Just, you know, I'm kind of grown this huge pile of why I feel abandoned and why I feel rejected, that it's going to take some time to release all of the emotion that is attached to that. So EFT tapping, the concept is that we have, because of experiences, we have emotions that have gotten kind of stuck in our bodies, right? Like, that we're holding on to. There's I don't know if it's a theory, I haven't read the book, but it's like the body keeps the score, right? So this concept that our bodies hold emotions, and negative emotion, if we don't process that emotion, if we don't feel it, then it kind of gets jammed and stuck in there, right? And so EFT tapping allows that. You know, they talk about energy, which is a little woo-woo to me, but it allows that energy, that negative energy, to release, to let go, to move freely and not be like jammed. It's like a traffic jam inside of you, right? Like, it allows that release. Now, if I have, which I'm starting to understand, that one EFT session is not going to clear out this, remember I said this big pile, right? It's not going to clear this whole big pile out. And so what I am doing is I am starting to tap more regularly. In fact, I found this lady on YouTube who just absolutely makes my heart sing. And she has videos, and I am going to put a link down below. She does videos that lead you through the process of tapping. And she talks about specific things actually related to weight. And her whole premise is exactly what I've been talking about, that weight, being overweight, is so much more than eating habits and exercising, right? It has everything to do with how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about food, how we feel about exercise, the belief systems, the core beliefs that we have about ourselves. She talks that talk, and she addresses those things, and she has videos, and I've just now begun exploring these videos, but I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to share this new resource that I have come across. I have been doing tapping. I've been learning more about tapping. I have been experiencing such relief and such growth and such clarity by doing tapping. And I am so excited to find an online resource that's outside of, you know, having to go to a counselor or a therapist. Not everybody has that available, right? So I wanted to share this resource. To me, I'm so excited. She has like a morning, I don't know what she calls it. Again, it's like a morning routine, a morning tapping. And I've only done it a couple of times now. Amazing, like amazing in boosting my confidence. It's the only reason that I'm here right now making this video, because you know what? Yesterday, I was like stuck. I just have these things going on in my life right now that are just kind of, they're like piled on me, and I'm struggling right now. I'm dealing with depression and with anxiety because, like, this stuff going on in life right now, right? And so yesterday I was doing a lot of tapping. I was just really feeling like I can't start this channel. I know I need to start this channel. I know I need to move forward this. I have felt so motivated and compelled to do this, but I just can't. I felt so depressed yesterday. And after doing tapping, after finding this lady, after doing her tapping yesterday and doing it in the morning, oh my gosh. I mean, look at me. I feel vibrant. I feel excited. I feel engaged again. All of these things that I'm passionate about that yesterday I just could not handle. I wanted to stay in bed. I wanted to bake things. I wanted to watch movies, and I wanted to color on my phone. That's my thing lately, is coloring on my phone. It's like Zen, right? And I wanted to time out and run away from the world. And today I am not that person. This is what EFT tapping can do. Is it like the end all be all? Am I cured? Am I, are all my issues resolved? Am I ready to for the rest of the day eat perfectly and exercise and not have any problems anymore? No, and no, and no. And I think that especially as Americans, we need to get over that thinking that wanting this magic pill, this instant gratification. Okay, maybe not as Americans, me, I'm talking about me. I'm always looking for the quick fix. I'm always looking for what's easy. I just want it to be easy. I don't want it to be work. This is not a quick fix. It is an instant fix for right now. But it is going to take time to rip out the roots of this core belief and replace it with something that serves me, that helps me, that moves me in the direction that I actually want to go in. So, the link is there. I'm sharing this wonderful resource. I hope that you will check out her videos and experience the relief and the peace and the what is the word I'm looking for? The happiness, like the joy that comes, this warmth and this peace and love that comes from doing this technique, that you will push past that like it's weird, it's woo-woo, I'm not going to tap on my head or whatever, that you'll push past that and you will see that maybe this is something that could benefit your life, and give this lady a chance. So I wanted to get this video out there as soon as possible. And I just, if you're watching my videos, it's because I'm hoping that you're joining me on my weight loss / life improvement adventure that I'm on. And I'm really glad that you're here.